Hello, hello. It looks like there's a few people hopping on. Thank you, thank you, thank you. We sure appreciate you being here with us on a bright, sunny, and chilly day here in Wisconsin. I'd love to hear where you're watching from and what life is like there. I hope that everybody is having a great Friday. We sure are, and I'm so glad to be back. This is always one of our fun times of the week, and it takes a little bit of rushing to get ready, but it's all like so, I don't know, fun and exciting, and it's our joy. So, hi, Lynn. Oh, hi, Chris. Chris is a new friend, and Lisa, yay, lots of good fun peeps. Hi. I'm so glad you guys are on. It's funny, because unless you say something, all I can see is like, oh, there's somebody on, but I don't know who it is, at least on the phone that I've got right here in front of me. So it's just fun to see. And hi, Kathy, good to see you. Oh my goodness, yeah, cold Syracuse. You're just about like us, I imagine. I think so far everybody is kind of from around cold areas. So anyway, I want to get started with a demonstration on how to do this unique wire wrap that we kind of jokingly call the fancy large hole bead bail. And oh, hey, Redland, how are you? Karen, yes, Vicky, oh my goodness. Yay, it just feels like, you know, a fun Friday at the shop. Yes, wish we could all get together for real. That would be fun. Oh, Sue, good to see you as well. Yay. Oh my goodness, good to see everybody. Well, so I want to get started, and I want to share with you the story of this because it kind of matters, kind of. So anyway, I'm going to have Ed, because he can. There's Eddie. Hey, and there's his happy little station where he's typing and making, this is where we'll take notes as to who's getting what. And anyway, he's going to show something for me. So, am I on?
You are on.
Hello,
and you're smiling, which is very good.
Oh, thanks, honey.
Yeah.
Well, so I just want to say, this is my normal front dress, my breastplate of righteousness, I sometimes refer to it as. Of course, you know, we all do masks. I like mine on a dangle so that I can take it off when I need to, when I'm back here talking, and then I go out to the front of the store, I put it on. And then I usually wear a long necklace, and I usually have two, you know, medium length because, you know, we're girls and we're beady and we want to do that. So this is my normal long necklace, but I've run into trouble in my life. My trouble is this. My glasses are, I need them for distance.
I'm sorry.
So like to see Ed, well, I can see Ed because he's 5 feet away. But generally, if I need to see across the store, if somebody walks in, I can't see them. So I need my glasses for that, but I don't need them for my close work. And what I'm finding is I leave my glasses everywhere. And in this store, it is impossible to, well, it's not impossible. It takes me a lot of time to find them again. So I decided to make this. It's adjustable at the end. Slider.
This is going to be one of our projects for
This is our first little demo. Yeah, this is what I decided to do with the wire wrap. Of course, you can do anything you want with this, but this was just fun, and we'll have some little kits. So Jasper and Carnelian, and I think everybody knows why that is the case. We can talk about it later. Maybe somebody else can talk about it.
Revelation 4:3, the one that sat on the throne had the appearance of Jasper and Carnelian. So
Yay.
we call that the face
So
of
I
God.
love to put that into anything that I can.
Yeah.
And then, so this now, I made these with 48 inches of leather. So you can go fairly long. Actually, mine I did this with just 40. I packed the kits with 48. So you could go even longer. And the point of it is this. You can put your glasses in there, and having experimented all week long, I have discovered that it is better to have the glasses facing your belly, which is soft, unless you're really ripped, and if your abs are going to cause trouble and scratch your glasses, then I guess maybe you wear them the other way. But anyway, you wear it this way so that your glasses aren't getting scratched against stuff as you're moving around. But it has become a really handy way to not lose my glasses every single day, at least 5 times. And our youngest employee, Cheyenne, is the best at finding them. And then she'll say, here, Becky, I think you lost these again. So anyway, this is my attempt to not do that quite so much. Now, the funny thing is I'm still new at it, so I'm forgetting that this is where my glasses are. So I have done that where Like last night leaving, I'm looking everywhere for my glasses, and there they are, right?
But again, just a gorgeous,
In
gorgeous necklace.
my glasses
a gorgeous,
holder.
gorgeous necklace on its own.
Absolutely. It can just stand alone. It doesn't have to be used as a glasses holder. But I wanted to just show why that matters, how it's best worn. You know what I mean, kind of long. But you can adjust it because it'll come with a little slider. So, yay, there you go. All right. So I'm going to take my mask off because I don't really need that. And that'll be that. I'll put the phone back up.
Okay.
Thank you, Eddie.
Do that final adjustment.
Oh, do you know what? Don't do that right there, though, because you might hit buttons we don't want to hit on the side. You know what I just realized is that, Chris Cummins says hi to you too, Ed. I forgot to turn off my alarms. We're going to hope nobody calls. If anybody calls, I'll have to deal with it then.
Right.
Okay? All right. So.
Sounds good. So while Becky's getting situated, again, how this works is, first of all, we're coming to you live from historic downtown Stoughton. And we're going to show you, Becky's going to show you a couple different projects, one after the other. After the first project, she might show some things for sale. Is that correct?
Yes.
And those things that are for sale are going to have things that look like a lot number. And you're gonna, if you like what she is selling, you just say, I want one of those. You say, sold lot number 1, sold lot number 2. If you want more than one, and there's more than one available, you can say, sold lot number 1, quantity 2. And we just keep track of those. That's my job today. And at the end of the show, we send you a secure click and pay invoice for all the things you bought. And most of you have shopped before, but if you are brand new to shopping, we are so glad that you are here. We saw a lot of new faces on the interested and coming part of Facebook. So so this part applies to you. You just send us an email at the end of the show so we know how to reach you. And if you spend $20, you'll get shipping free today. Otherwise, it's $5.95. So I know that you will. I think that's shipping for $5.95 at all orders. But I'm going to give a super deal today. If you spend at least $20, you'll get shipping for free.
What?
And I know you can do that. I know everyone out there can do that. Last week, last of Becky's shows, we had the same deal on because we have it on our website, and I think pretty much everyone's orders were over $20. So everyone got free shipping. So anyway, I'll turn it back over to Becky.
Cool. And hello to new people who've signed on, Brittany and Pam and Jessica. I'm glad you're able to be on. I already signed you up for the, I think, silver and copper earrings, and you'll get those. They're a naked earring set or kit, and you'll add beads. If you see beads you want to add, let me know about that. Anyway, hello. I'm glad that a daughter loves making kits. Yes. So here we are going to get started. The kit, this first kit with the African ring, which these are just so yummy good, comes with everything you need to make the eyeglass holder kit. But first I'm going to show you how we do the wrap. So the kit is going to come with 2 feet of wire, but you don't need 2 feet. You need about a foot. So the reason it comes with 2 feet, even though you're making 1, is because sometimes we make mistakes with wire. And so I thought the smart thing to do would be to just give you a little extra. So I'm going to be working with a foot of wire. I'm going to show you a couple samples. This one on the top was wrapped with a full foot of wire, 12 inches, and the one on the bottom was wrapped with 10 inches. So if you like a little, you just a few less wraps of wire basically is what that ends up being. I tend to like them a little, I like wire showing, so I use a lot of it. So the way we start with this is with a round nose, and I'm going to bend my wire right in the middle. And I apologize that our setup doesn't allow me to do this quite as easily under the camera as I would wish, but I'm going to do the best I can. So
now it looks like it's coming through fine.
Good. So we're going to bend it about in half. It doesn't matter. It doesn't have to be exact. In fact, I like it if it's a little off half, to be quite honest, because that gives me, I always wrap my shorter wire first because then it's more likely that I'll be able to cover that because I like to use the second wrap to cover the first wrap. Well, so as you can see, the idea is that we want all this fun stuff going on. But the easiest way to make that happen that I've found, and of course this is wire, right? And so we are the boss of the wire. I think I've said that before. Don't let it intimidate you. That's why I gave you the lecture. You can play with it. And you might find a better way to do this. You can, I mean, some of this is just, this is just made up stuff. So you can do it however works for you. So I like to make a little bend like this, because basically what I'm going to end up doing, can you see that angle? There you go, is I'm doing a lark's head with wire to start it, to make sure things are good and secure. And so this is the angle that I basically want, that's going to come around the top edge of whatever it is that I'm wrapping. And I will show a demonstration later on this little guy, just so you can see another way to do it. Or it's the same way, but it's just a different kind of stone that I'm wrapping. Anyway, so this method you can use for wrapping rings, for wrapping stones, for wrapping really anything. So I am eyeing up that right about there is where I want, inside there is where I want to bend, because I'm going to do these bends ahead of time. Now I'm bending this. I think this is going to be a little longer than I want, and I'm doing it so I can show you how to adjust. So I test that in there, and that amount of extra, which I would call a little less than 1/4 of an inch, is not, it's too much. I don't want that much of a loop right there. I really want my loop closer down to the edge of whatever it is that I'm wrapping. So because all of this is really going to be hidden, I'm just going to basically curl the whole thing just a little shallower, a little shorter here, so that it ends up right about there. So, and you can, so I'm going to pinch that in so that I have a fairly secure start with just that little loop, and, and the loop and the bend, so that I am, positioned, all of this is positioned where I want it to be. Again, this is just sticking over the lip just a little bit. So now I'm basically going to use the wire like I would leather. I'm going to put that guy through, pull him through, and it gets a little snug at the end. So grab your end with the pliers and give a good pull. Surprised I haven't ever scratched my iPhone camera with all the things that I do, because I'm not at all paying attention to that. Anyway, this one's going to go through. Same thing. Mostly you can pull it with your hand and see that's a little bit wobbly. Woohoo! Hank Guzman is on. That's a cool kid who lives in Utah right now and goes to physical therapy school. And I know he does some designing and beading, and he certainly does do a fair bit of help for all kinds of things for me. In fact, if we have time at the end, I wanted to share with you one of the tips he's given me for dealing with shoulder tightness. And thanks, Hank, because that's a good reminder. That you get when you're doing this kind of work. When we're all doing this sort of thing, whether it's wire work or beading or whatnot, and it can get, I find myself getting a little tight. So he's given me a couple exercises, and I thought I would share one of those with you at the end. So I'm just pulling that, and you can see what we basically got, right? Lark's head with wire. So now I'm going to bend this. You can use your fingers. This is 18 gauge wire, and so it's fairly stiff. So I like to bend that out then to about a 60-degree angle, something like that. And the other wrap is done with a 22 gauge wire. 20 gauge wire works fine on here. In fact, I did a little sample somewhere. But I like the heavier look of 18. So, but it makes it a little tougher to work with. So the bail. In order to do the bail, where's my pearl? Becky. Well, here, we'll just take it out of here.
There you go.
That'll work. So you want your bail to be a little smaller than whatever it is that you're going to wrap it around. Or you want your, I'm going to use a pen. So to form the bail, I need something that's just a little smaller than what I'm wrapping it around. And that would be the case with this pen. So you can usually find those sorts of things just anywhere around the house, right? So we're going to hold it like so. And I'm wrapping. Again, I apologize. You know, the obvious, you know, wrapping one side over one way, the other one goes over the other way, right? And for now, I kind of want to bring them back in close. They don't need to be separated at this point too much. But you take that out, you can see how that's coming together. I want to reposition it a little bit because I want that the loops to be centered basically. So that's what we got. Centered above the top of what I'm wrapping. And in this case, it's this gold or brass ring. These are really cool brass rings too. These are from Africa. They're money belt rings. Actually used back in the day for money. So, all right. So you can see this wire is shorter. I'm going to start with that one just because that's what I like to do. And it ends up being that it will, it's easier to hide it, I think. So we're going to pull this wire that I'm not going to use up and out of the way. And now I'm just going to wrap. And honestly, I am the most random wrapper. And I think that in real life, you know, if you pay too much attention to it, it doesn't go the way you want it to. So if you like a random wrap, if you want it more precise, feel free to take the time and care and attention to make it more precise. But I tend to like a more random wrap.
But who is the master of the wire?
I'm the master of this wire, and you are the master of, they're the master of their wire. So I'm going to take this out in order to do that last bit of wrapping. Right, so just, you know, be confident with just trying stuff. I mean, the worst you do is mess up the wire, and you've got an extra piece, and if you need more, we've got more. Every bead store in the world, well, no, I don't know if every bead store in the world carries wire, but a lot of bead stores carry wire. So you saw how I tucked that guy in. It's still looking a little random. I mean, not incomplete, but we're going to get there, right? So I want to pull this guy a little snugger so that my two loops, my little ears, whatever, are about the same size. And I'm going to go back in here and then just start wrapping this. And I like to start the wrap with the pen so that I hold it in place. But once the wrap is started, you can take the pen out because that just becomes extra stuff. So again, this is 12 inches of wire, and I'm going to go ahead and use all of it.
Are you wrapping the same direction as the first wrap?
I am wrapping in the opposite direction. Thank you for asking, Ed.
Is that highly recommended?
It would be the obvious way to wrap. If you were paying attention and doing it, it would become apparent that you would wrap the opposite way. Yes, okay. I think. But maybe I shouldn't say that. Maybe it's not quite so obvious. All right. But I think that would be, but yes, that's what you would do. So I'm going to tuck this last one in. And the most important thing with wire is just, you know, get it out of the way so it's not looking ugly and it's not acting ugly, because we don't want it to pull on clothing or whatever. So now the whole thing is a little tilted one way, so you can either use your pliers or your fingers. That feels pretty well centered at this point. And then you just gently pull these apart just a smidge and pop your bead in so the holes go in like so, right? And then you string it up. I've got some really heavy 2mm leather that this goes in. And what I like about this shape is it's like that classic art shape of like a vase or a perfume bottle. And, you know, I love the gold ring. Rings have such neat symbolism, you know, from a circle of life. And this large hole pearl These are multifaceted or faceted large hole pearls. So, and they're big. They're about 13 millimeters, I think. And what I really, really, really love about those is that they, symbolically, I just love, you know, the pearls can be a symbol for Jesus, and the facetedness speaks to his multifacetedness as a Lord and Savior. And I just think that's, you know, if you read the Bible and see how Jesus is, he's just an amazing human when he was here on earth. Anyway, so here we are. We're going to put one strand of leather through, and I'm trying to pull it a little bit and show you that there is room for the second piece of leather. And I have it cut at an angle. Hope you can see that, a pretty sharp angle. I might need to go even sharper. I didn't test this leather. I did test the one that I made, but getting that in can be a little bit, you need to use some gentle care. And so you can see it starting to come through, right? And I'm gonna press the leather in on this side, while as I'm holding the two pieces of leather together, and I'm not pushing the leather, I'm pushing this slider clasp onto the leather. So that wasn't too bad at all. And then I'm gonna pull it carefully, because you don't wanna pull your leather and scratch the leather. I don't think you will. I've checked the sizing on these, as you all know from having sat through some of these leather and beads. Or leather is very randomly, sized. It can vary by 0.3 millimeters every single batch. So we test all our leather. In fact, if we have a minute later, I'll tell you about an issue with some chain that did the same thing. So anyway, on the ends then, jasper and carnelian, so that we have that reminder of the presence of God everywhere, jasper and carnelian. And I just do simple little knots, pull them down, and that's that. And then this is adjustable, and you can use it as a simple pendant, or it can be a glasses holder, as I shared earlier. So I saw a question about other finishes. So these brass rings come only in brass. In this kind of a size and look. We do have some interesting copper rings in the shop that aren't quite as big as that. But what I do have is, for lot number one, is you get to choose whether you want the bright brass ring, and so that would be this style of ring, bright brass. So lot one is all bright brass, and then you would choose whether you wanted an antique brass or an antique copper closure and wire. So I kind of like using two different metals, but you could go with all brass. So there is, oh, here, the one I'm wearing, duh.
So the example you did was that rustic brass?
This example was actually shiny. Let me show you, or bright. Here's the rustic. It's a good question. So the rustic is really rustic. So we do some polishing and tumbling and processing to get them a little shinier if you don't like the more rustic look. So lot one is going to be the bright, and lot two will be the rustic. So your choices, though, on this will be for bright. So lot one is the bright rings, and you choose whether you want antique brass or antique copper wire, because we are happy to send either one.
The lanyard slider matches.
Yes.
Matches.
Yes. So there's the example of how the brass looks. Of course, I removed my low pearl, and now I turn it up, and I've got some packaged. I will have some of those pearls packaged too, for you can buy them in sets of 2, so they're kind of paired up so you could use them as earrings or whatever, but like they fit wonderfully on beading chain. Anyway, I'll talk about that later. Yada yada. Okay, so this is lot one. This is just showing the brass. So so I see Lisa has mentioned antique copper, Bradley Ann. Oh, there you go. Eddie asked, do you want antique brass or antique copper?
Yeah, one by default is bright.
Yes, one is bright. Yes. Super. Okay, so I think I'm going to move on to lot 2. Get these out of here. So lot 2 will be the same thing except for rustic brass. And so I wanted to show this because this is how they, how we buy them. Aren't those just fun? I don't know how many of you guys work with much African beads, but there's just so much coolness and handmadeness in everything that we get from our African bead traders. Abrima's the one that we work with most often, and he often knows where these have come from. I think these were Nigerian, and he, because he'll buy directly from the tribes and families that they're sold, where they're selling them. Goes to Africa a couple times a year, at least before COVID he did. Now I think he is kind of back into that swing. But anyway, this will be the rustic brass, and then again choose, so lot 2 is rustic brass ring, and choose either antique copper or antique brass wire. Easy peasy.
And it's everything including the pearl?
Everything including the pearl. Yeah, this has everything to make the whole eyeglasses holder. So yes, it includes the pearl, even though I have not included, found the pearl for the one, but here, there's an example. So yes, it includes one of those big, fun, multifaceted pearls. And again, I think it's super handy to be able to have it available as a glasses holder, but yet, because it kind of still looks like you have jewelry on, it holds the place of that long piece of jewelry. And because I feel incomplete if I don't have a full set of, 3 necklaces, and well, today I only have 2 bracelets. Oh, that's a thing I was going to mention to y'all. So this little bracelet, we did this a month ago, and I have been wearing it constantly in the shower because I kind of wanted to see, like, how well does leather hold up? And because people ask that all the time. And you can see it's getting a little crusty because I use soap and I shower every day. So, but that doesn't bother me a whole lot, and it's stayed sturdy. So I just wanted to show this is what happens to leather when you wear it every day in the shower, and when you exercise, and when you do dishes and do all the things that we do in life. So, anyway, next is this little guy. I'm going to do one more demo because I figured it would be helpful to see that little wrap done more than once. So now I'm going to show you this little guy. Same exact wrap, except just slightly different. So this, when we talk about the kits will come with three different finishes of wire: brass, copper, silver, and antique. And you'll get a foot of each, so you'll get some practicing. Get 4 pearls and 4 of these little sea glass stones. And what I'm going to do is, oh, there, I put my little clue right there. It uses 6 inches of wire. The idea was to have that right there so you know what you're going to get and how much wire to use. So I'm only going to use 6 inches of wire, and so you'll have enough wire again to practice. So same deal as before. Let's see. I'm going to get my round nose, and we're going to bend that about in half. And this is now 22 gauge wire, so much easier to work with. I'm going to do that little bend at the top, so I want that angle right there, just a little bit, because that just makes the middle of that end up in the middle of, this bead, right? I'm going to decide which is the top, which is the bottom. I'm going to call this the top. And because this is nice, skinny 22 gauge wire, it goes through that hole pretty well, very easily. And then I'm going to bend that up. So we've got it bent over just a little bit. And then I'm going to thread these through. And oh my goodness. It is a miracle I haven't hurt myself or my camera. Anyway, there we go. So then I pull that up, pull it good and tight, And in this case, I want to come, so I'm pressing it down so that that's basically centered on my stone. It's to the back a little bit, and that's okay. I'm going to bend these forward, and it probably doesn't really matter which way you bend, but I like to bend it away from the lark's head loop. And then I'm going to use, as I said, it's good to kind of find something that's just a little bit smaller than the bead that you're trying to have be your carrier bead or your bail bead. And there's that nice big hole. And I'm going to, in this case, I am using a, well, we call them glaze stirrers and hole makers that we use when we're making clay beads. But what are these really? Skewers, I guess?
Yeah, like
most people use them for
kebab.
shish kebab. Yeah, so those are easy to find.
Some redneck tools here for our bending.
We are. Well, honey, we don't want to have to use fancy tools. I think redneck is fine. You got to use what you have around the house, because if you're not doing a lot of this, you don't need to get special tools.
This could be a fat.
It could be a fat round nose, fat paintbrush. Right, lots of things that you could find to make that nice little wrap. So then I'm going to take my shorter one. It doesn't really matter, but I do like it in there when I'm starting. And I am going to simply wrap. And again, this 22 gauge wire is so easy to work with.
It's like butter.
Tis.
Stays where it's put.
It does. It does. It does. So then I'm going to slide this back in so I can pull hard against it when I do this wrap. And you can see Ed asked which way do you wrap it. It's pretty obvious once you get that in there, just how you do it. Hey, Lori, late again. No worries. You know, you can always rewatch anytime. We missed you. Ruth asked for an eyeglass kit. Do you want the shiny?
Yeah.
Or do you want the rustic? And then do you want antique brass or do you want antique copper for your leather or for your findings? So there we go. Yes. And so we're going to open that up. Ah! And there, open it up really wide. This is just going to pop right in there, right? And it would appear as though I made it a little small. I pulled that really tight, probably tighter than I should have. I've made enough of these, I should know better. And so what you do when that happens, I'm going to try to correct it because, and what I'm doing is I'm pulling this to make these, the little ears, pull them out just a little bit longer, right? And I'm almost making them a little more elongated. Instead of round, they're popping up. See how they got just a little bit longer there? And I should be able to, with that now, pop that bead in. And I am not able to. So, I think I've done this before. My husband's like, Becky, do you do it? Yes, I do. I practice lots. You can see all my practices. So, the good thing is when I run into mistakes, or not mistakes, but obstacles, then we learn, right? So, I'm going to keep pulling that. I'm going to make that space.
What a man would do is test those loops before we started doing the final wrapping.
Would you? Well, and you know what? Honestly, I should have done that.
Yeah.
And if I weren't feeling a little bit rushed, I would probably have done it. But what I want to do, I can't find any leather, but I wanted to basically show you this. I wouldn't use this chain in here, but if I had leather, I could demonstrate that you can still make that work even though you've wrapped it a little bit short. because the bail itself isn't what's holding anything together. The wire is going over the whatever you're carrying it with, and it's going through the bead. Or I mean the bead is held on by the chain or the leather, and so is your little pendant. So ultimately, if this doesn't hold itself in that, if the bail bead isn't distinctly and independently held, it's okay, because it doesn't need to be. So you can do some little bits of adjusting, and if I had more time, I would probably putz with that, and I will after we're done, because this is redeemable for sure. You can push some of this wire down, pull some of the other out, and make it so that it'll work.
But it took less than 5 minutes for you to make the bail, so, and given that wire is inexpensive, you could always just cut it off and start over.
Right, and this is why we give you extra wire. So you get 4 in the kits, so let's move on to that. In the kits, you will get this. There's another sample. This one would be lot 3. So lot 3 would have, and these don't have leather or chain. These are just the pendants. So you get 4 pendants. Let's see, is all that going to show up? Yeah, thanks, Lynn, for saying it's okay to have an oops and show how to fix it. I don't know if you can see everything that's in here, but what you'll get is 4 pearls, 4 sea glass beads, and enough wrap, enough wire in 3 different colors to use to make a mistake or 2. So there's what you're getting. So, and we have these in 4 colors. So I have, what do I have? 5 with this, what I call like bottle green. It's kind of that light sea glass color. So I only have 5 of those, but I have some other colors. So I'm going to put this away.
Someone said plus chain. Is chain coming up, or is chain a separate thing?
Chain is a separate thing. I don't have it on the show. If you, do you like that particular chain? I think that's $4 a foot. We can sell you some of that. Well, in fact...
So are people picking finishes on lot 3 or no?
Nope. Lot 3 is just lot 3. You get 3, I've given you 3 different colors of wire. That's how that works. Okay?
Oh.
But what you're picking, you don't pick, it's that bottle green. But...
Got it. Okay, so there's going to be lots 3, 4, 5, and 6, and they're going to be essentially the same, but they're going to be different colors of the cultured sea glass. Is that correct?
Yes. Okay, and so here's what I'm going to do. If somebody asked about the chain, so I like this chain. It's really pretty. I also like these ends, and I just want to show you this. So this is the same ends that we're using later in another example, but I'm just using a leather crimp as a chain end. But to make that work, you gotta pull it through, because chain is a little bit wiggly. So what I do, and I saved this so I could show you, so thanks for asking, even though I don't have, well, whatever. So I'm just using a little bit of fishing wire to loop through the end of this chain. It's very fine chain, and it's hard to get a jump ring through there. So then you pull the finding, or you pull this crimp finding, and it's generally used for leather, but there's no reason you can't use it for chain like we do here and in our next little demo. So I'm going to pull that through, and I'd like to pull it up so that it comes through so I can see it. And then whenever we're doing these crimps, I think we've talked about this before, you always want to crimp on the same plane as the loop that's on the end of it. Like, I don't ever want to crimp it this way. That would break it. So I just set my pliers there to test, and then I'm going to pop right here, and I'm going to pinch. And I'm going to turn it the other way, and you can even see, you could see how much that squish down. That middle section is just nice soft metal, and it'll squish. So I'm going to pinch. And I'm using a very fine nose pliers. You don't want to use, my normal bent nose pliers is a nice big, sturdy girl right here. But that's a little bit too big. You want to use a finer pliers. And when you have, by having this fishing wire through here, what I like to do before I test by pulling the chain out to make sure it's in, I pull it, I use the fishing wire to try to pull it through to see if I have pinched it just tight enough. And to me, it looks like I have, but what I'm gonna do is just give it one more pinch because, you know, that's never gonna be a bad thing. So anyway, that's how you can finish this stuff. So, all right, so moving on. Lot 3, we are done with. That's this. We'll do lot 4 pretty quick. That's this pretty color. And I think what I'll do is just take the beads out. So this is kind of a nice aqua blue. And there's 4 different shapes. I think my samples all had, like, I don't know, I love how these just look like little glass perfume bottles or something is what I think it evokes to me. I think they're sweet. So this is the aqua blue. And so lot 4, $12. You get the supplies you need to make the pendants. If you're interested in chain, make note and we can add that in as a separate thing. So there we go, aqua blue. We have 3 of those only. And next, lot 5 is kind of a teal. And I have 5 of those. And that is this color. So I should hold that up. Doesn't, you know, it's, I have to remember to look on the camera to see how it's looking. So lot 5.
I think there's 4 sold out.
4, there was only 3 of them.
I think we might, so I gotta make sure we, I've got Bradley Ann got one. Vicky got one.
Take a water break.
And Pam got one. So Aaron did not. Sorry, Aaron. I don't know if they can hear that or not.
No, I think Ed says sorry that we ran out of some of these. Some of these I just, the pieces are so good and I have them and I want to use them even though I don't have a ton, but these are some that I can probably get more of. And if people like them, I can order and we can follow up down the road. So we are at lot 5, which is the teal blue. We have 5 of those kits. And then one more in a really nice sort of ocean blue. Yeah, these are cultured, they're called cultured sea glass, and so they're not fully natural, but they're tumbled and manufactured so that they have that nice sea glass, you know, vibe and roughness, but they're not rough, but they have just a, you know, a matte finish that's yummy good. This is the next one. Okay, so this is lot 5. I'm gonna tuck him away. So that's a pretty dark teal. These are all good oceany colors. Are we all just kind of at that point where we're wishing we were at the beach? Some of you are at the beach, which is nice. Actually, so here's the weird thing. So this one is lot 6. There's 5 of these. This is just a pretty blue. And we'll put all 4 of them out there. So all of these have 4 beads and 4 pearls and 3 colors of wire. So this is just a thing that I discovered. So Facebook lets me, when I initially put out an invitation for an event, it lets me exclude or include countries. And because we are not in a position to effectively ship to countries other than Canada or the US, I've typically included Canada and US. And that means that, like today, Susan isn't with us because she's in Puerto Rico. Another customer is in South Africa, which I heard from both of them in the last 24 hours. and felt really bad that I wasn't able to connect with them because I can't change that once I do it. So if you're ever going to be somewhere ever other than US and want to watch, let me know, because I can include countries at the point that I'm starting and setting up the event. And we may end up thinking this through and perhaps, make it clear that you can watch the video and learn a technique, even if we can't sell you stuff easily. The issues that are out there. So lot 6 again is this pretty blue, and we have 5 of those. But the issues that are out there with shipping and tariffs and taxes and all of whatnot for all the different countries is challenging to figure out. And because we are a sweet little small business, it has not been something we've been able to do very effectively. We have tried. So next we are going to move on to one more quick demo, and then we're going to have some beads, and then we're going to be done. So let's see. This is, I have the things on the screen. These are these cute little naked, I forgot to call them naked. You guys know we call our kits naked when they don't come with beads. And what that means is you get all this stuff. Here's your little pile, and we're gonna have these in 3 different finishes: silver, copper, and brass. And I put 10 together of all of them, but if you're interested, we can put more together. But you can see there's no beads in the naked kit. This is one of those where you add beads. We'll show you the beads in a little while as well. So what I wanted to share was how you finish these. So, and then also just what we started playing with beads and how different things look. So, sorry if I have my hands right in front of everything. So you can imagine which one of these I designed. It's the random one with no extra sparklies, just this. And that's one way for this little necklace. This isn't a necklace, but it's an earring. And these are super lightweight. These are kind of nice because they're a lightweight earring, and when they're hanging, those beads all fall just as they should. But it has a big profile, and sometimes people like that, a little bit bigger look, but not quite so much weight. My friend Laura put this together, and with silver spacers, and then in a planned pattern, of patterning those colors. And I share this because we're going to have these little bead mixes. This is one of our mixes, and you can use them randomly, or you can use them purposefully and come up with a whole different look. And it's just kind of fun how different one little set of beads can look. So there's the mix, and just depending on how you arrange them. So I'm gonna grab my big nose with the small, and we are gonna hope and pray that I don't drop this, because that's the thing that's a pain. So the naked kit comes with all the silver beads, or brass or copper, depending on the color, but you add your own colored beads. And so and this is about as small as is reasonable to make, although you can make it smaller, I suppose. But as you can see, you need to have a little bit of room to work. And if I had fewer beads, I guess I could make the whole loop even smaller.
Are those 6-0 beads?
These are 8-0s. These guys right here. The next, I'm going to do this twice, and those will be 6-0s. So these are 8-0s. And so they fit nicely on this small beading chain. It's 0.7 millimeter beading chain. And they are, what was I going to say? I had something important to say there, I'm sure. Forgot it. So I want the ends of the chain sticking out just a little bit. You can see that there, yes? And then using my tiny pliers and pinching on the plane of the loop, I'm going to pinch that down, right? So it's pinched a little bit. I'm going to turn it, and it's in the turning that I have dropped several of these. And you can see none of that is sticking in there. It's all loosey-goosey, because it won't even start to get stuck in until I turn it around the other way. And then I'm still going to do this a couple more times. So I'm pinching this. I'm pinching it pretty sturdily, or pretty firmly, I guess. And now I want to test. So I've only pinched each side once, and I really do want to pinch each side at least twice. But I test to see if I have gotten a firm fit, or a firm, if my squish has in fact held the wire by pushing the wire out. And here you can see it has not. See, that can go all the way up. I don't want to do it too far and then lose beads, but that's the kind of the point I was trying to show you. And that's why we test. So I'm going to pull it back where I want it, which is right there. And then I'm going to pinch it again. And there we go. I'm going to turn it. Being really careful not to drop it. This is why prayer works. I actually prayed that I wouldn't drop it. So I'm testing it again. And there's a teeny little bit of wiggle in there. And that's kind of because that one feels good too. That teeny bit of wiggle is because there's little segments in this chain. And that makes for, like, sometimes there's just a little spot where you get just that minuscule bit of wiggle. So, and if you're worried about it, give it a good pinch, but don't use a big pliers because you can break this little finding and that would be sad. We would send you more, but you don't want to do that. So that's that. Now, what I forgot to mention that really is important though, is before you string your beads, you need to do what I call conditioning the wire. And so the kits come with 18 inches of chain. So that means you can make 2 pairs of earrings that have a 4.5 inch piece of chain. So this is how long it would be for a 4.5 inch if you used 4.5 inches. This was using 3.25 inches. So you may not use up all of your chain. You can see how, I bet that's a full 2 inches of earring on that guy. But what I wanted to show you is the chain, it's not stiff, but it's stiff. You know, there's a little bit of stiffness that it is smart to work that out. And so by conditioning the chain, I just mean you run it through your fingers like so. And you could do the whole piece at once. That's probably easier than doing a bunch of little pieces. And like I say, it comes to you in an 18-inch piece. So I'm going to just do this a few times, and it will make the chain just that much more supple, and it'll make it hang nicer. I should have shown you, like, here's an example. That chain hasn't been conditioned, and look how wide that loop is. Now, I can squish it down, but look at this. That same amount of chain, it'll hang like that. But with the beads on it, it'll widen out again. But it just makes it much more supple, and makes the piece hang better. So condition your wire or your chain, and then bead up. You've got about 60 little spacer beads, so you'll probably have extras. I'm sure you will, because, well, maybe you won't, but you probably will have extras. You know, we always try to put a little extra stuff in. So, all right, Becky. So we are moving on to, what do we got? Oh, one more thing. Oh, I was going to do one more of these. So this is size 6 beads, and look how cute those are. And again, we did that with, with a specific kind of a rainbowish color way. And I wanted to show, and these beads came off of this strand, which we'll have later. And just like, but when you arrange them, I just wanted to show, like, if you pick and choose carefully, you can arrange the beads in a way that makes them look distinctive and rainbowish, or what is that called? Not balayage. There's a word for it. Why do I always forget it? I always forget words when I'm trying to talk to smart people. And
is this 7/10 of a millimeter? Or?
This is 0.7 millimeter. So we're getting up in here. I'm making sure that my plane of my pliers is the same as the plane of the loop. getting right in the middle. Oh, that's squished really pretty nicely, but see, it's still super loose. So you got to carefully turn it, not dropping anything because that would be ungood. And then test that you got the right angle, you're pinching on the right plane, and then pinch. I'm going to do a test, pushing up.
So you're saying graduated or ombre?
Ombre, 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 yes. Graduated ombre, any of that. Yes, yes, yes. Perfect. Thank you. Did you come up with that or did somebody else?
Laura Moore.
Oh, thank you, Laura Moore. Yay, see?
From the land of
It takes a village to do a bead show. So there, how cute is that, right? I mean, kind of fun, hippie boho, but not heavy, not big, just swingy and fun. So in these kits, for $12, you'll get all the stuff, the naked ingredients to make 2 pair. So that's the story. Actually, I can get all this out of here. So each of those will have that. So now we're doing round lot 7. Oh, only on lot 7. So that is well, I can even show you this. It's easier to see. So it's antique silver. So it's the naked kit, and it includes all the silver ingredients that you need. Ear wires, the little ear nuts, 60 roughly of the silver spacers, and the 18 inches of beading chain. So you can make, well, 2 pairs of earrings. So this is lot 7 silver, and just a fun way to use different kinds of supplies. Like typically you wouldn't use this, is considered more of a leather crimp, but if it works and it looks good, why not use it for something else, right? So that's my story, and I am clearly sticking with it and trying to find, yeah, I guess maybe I shouldn't put other little pretty colors of beaded things out there, because then that makes it look like they are part of it when you're buying it. But for $12, what a good deal to get. I'm thinking all the ingredients you need to make 2 fun pairs of earrings. And you can add your own beads to these. Oh, I forgot to make a sample of, like, these are cute with just like, if you have like, I mean, crystals will fit on here. So like Swarovski crystals, or if you have like fancy Swarovski little butterfly beads, that kind of stuff, you could hang just one fancy something, or one fancy something with 2 things on each side, you know, little accent beads. But there's lots of ways that you can use these. You don't have to do them, obviously, just the way that we did. This is just one fun way that we feel is how we like to do them. So anyway, all right, moving on. Lot 8. You ready, Eddie?
I'm a little behind, but that's okay.
So lot 8 will be all those goodies, but in brass. So I'm not going to take them all out of the container because we saw that. Maybe I'll put that up here. So that's all the goodies. And you get 4 ear wires, 4 nuts, 3 inches of chain, or 3 inches of beads, those little teeny triangle spacers. And I'm going to have those later too, where you could, if you want to buy half strands of triangle spacers, because I got to say, it is a happy little go-to bead. Oh, that's a thing I was going to show you too. So while Eddie's catching up, sometimes, so if you're with these beads, sometimes, can you see that? These guys will stick together. So these beads that are so dear, so they're just a little slightly irregular triangle. They're perfect for so many good things. But sometimes they will stick together. Ugh, that's not good, right? So my easiest way to make that not happen is to use my flat nose, but I don't have it right here. And if you just kind of crunch them, see how I didn't take much? It's like they're just sort of stuck together with whatever the finish is, but it can be pretty tough to get off. So if you turn it and pinch them, you can usually open that up. Wow, those are...
So Jessica did want some, right?
She did. I think I wrote them on there. So yeah, that
So lot
came
7
apart.
is sold out.
And you know what? We could do, I only made up 10 because I just don't know what people are really going to love.
So we could oversubscribe.
Yes, yes, yes. We could do that to that silver.
All right, so Ruth.
I've got lots of silver. So
Ruth Dolan will make an extra for you of number 7.
Alrighty. Oh, and I didn't say this, but well, we'll sit at the end, but probably these will go out tomorrow because we don't have everything all packed up. Sometimes we have some of it packed up, like I say, 10 of them, but not all of them. So they will probably ship tomorrow. And because I do want to include a little picture, got to get those done quick. So, all right, lot 8 is antique brass. So will the sea glass fit on this wire?
Of course.
Yes. Yes, yes. So that's this. I'm going to do copper. Oh, and then that's a fun story. Lot 9. So I'll give you a little time to catch up because I've got a thing to share. So lot 9 will be the Naked Beading Kit in copper. So all those same ingredients that we've been talking about. But copper. So what I want to share here, and so some of the samples were done in copper. It's almost always one of my faves. So there's an example, but the beads don't come with because this is Naked Kits. You get to choose which beads go on there for you. So I'll put that up there. You can even see those colors better. But here's what I wanted to show you guys. This was just like, oh my goodness. So I was putting these little kits together last night, and here's our spools of, well, we've got more than these, but these are the two. This was the spool I had at home. I was working at home and cutting copper chain for these kits. But after I cut about 6 or 8 of them, I thought, wow, that chain just feels a little thicker. And so I tested it in the little ends because you need to get 2 of these in there, right? And it wouldn't fit without much trouble. I forced it, but it was a lot of work. So then when I came in this morning, I looked at our spool that was here. And look at that. Do you guys see how different? Like that top one is so much thicker than the bottom one. Slight different color. They're both antique copper, but same company, same chain. Bought it within, 3 months of each other. So, but look how much thicker that one is. And it won't work for this application. It's fine for necklaces and all other kinds of stuff that you might use beading chain for, but you can't go through these guys twice. So that's one of the reasons why some of this won't get done till Saturday, because the copper ones I need to get cut and pulled together today. So anyway, in the same way that leather changes, so does chain. And obviously we don't want to send out a kit that doesn't have all the right ingredients in it, or ingredients that don't work together. That would seem like a really ungood thing to do. So, all right, I think, Eddie, you have the main list. Are we on to some beads? We are. We're going to do beads now. And then we'll come, mostly now it's beads and strands, and some in that little mix will be in there as well. So this is antique silver. That one. So this is probably my new favorite check size 6 bead. Oh my goodness, are those just sweet or what? 9 is copper, get that put away. So these are size 6s. They're not like a regular Miyuki or Mitubo size 6 that you can put 1 mil leather through, unfortunately, but any of the beading, well, not any, the 0.7 mil beading chain that we're talking about today works beautifully with these. This is the matte version of this strand, which is the next one. And it's the one that we made that, well, we did that with the shinies. But this lot 10, I just love these. And the shiny ones. But like, I'm kind of a denim girl. So look at this. Oh my goodness. Look how beauteous those look. I see Karen ordered some. So Karen knows, she was here this weekend, and she knows probably where I grabbed this denim out of. I have this supply of denim because I like to do kumihimo with denim and leather, and it's just a fun look. So I have a whole bunch of torn up denim from all my old jeans in a closet in the back room here. And Karen came to pick up her order from last time, and we got to talking about stuff like that. But anyway, doesn't that just look so good? Anything that looks this good with jeans is just, I don't know, perfect. Anyway, so lot 10, Becky's new favorite bead. And, in the matte version, and then in the shiny version. So there's that one. So these have just such a beautiful array of colors, and they're muted, but I should have shown the other one closer too. Sorry. This is 11. And they're just $10. And that red is just yummy good. The blues, oh my goodness. Ah, thanks for the love, you guys. I appreciate that. And Facebook knows this is it too, so we thank you for that, because, you know, life these days, everything's got to be done Facebook's way, or what do they call it now? Meta Suite or Meta something? Anyway, and we can get more of these beads too, but I just, oh my goodness, just yummy. That golden yellow is so good. And anyway, I can move on to 12 in just a second. Oh my goodness, is it? Oh, all right, I better, because we're over time, right? All right, but it's okay. So this is lot 12. So now that looks lovely on jeans as well. I should do it this way so we can see just, oh, that's a good idea. So we can see how different the beads look depending on what they're on there. Okay, so this is lot 12. And we have done these beads before, but I just thought these would work beautifully for what we're doing in this, you know, like the ombre-ishness stuff. So here's an example, the one that Carol put together with those nice matte beads pulled together in a more orderly fashion. And that's just these little random strands, but it's just fun, I don't know, to see them played with and utilized in a more thoughtful way. So there's another one that Carol had pulled together that kind of does the, you know, light to dark and ombre-ishness. Oh, they're not even on there, are they? Here, I'll put this one on because that's bigger. There, so you can see how they look when they're all pretty and organized. So lot 12 is these lovely matte purple blue, light blue, dark blue. There's a little bit of shine on some of those, a little bit of a mauve-y, and then the matte golden with a green stripe. So a lot of good variety in one little strand, which I always enjoy. If you can have, you know, choices without having to buy tons of strands, one strand gives you a lot of options. I'm thinking. All right, so 12. We will move on to 13. And there we go. Another beautiful strand of check size 6s. Again, these will fit fine on small beading chain. They won't probably go on leather, but they'll be fine on head pins or
do we have a lot of 12s?
Beading wire. Pardon?
Do we have a lot of 12s? We have just 10.
We have 10. I can check.
Let me just.
backstock quick and see if we have more.
No, I'm just way behind.
Okay.
I see a lot of people. Oh.
Here, I'll leave 13 here. I'll just go quick check and see if we have. That might be one that's overstocked. I'll check.
So Vicky, we got your cancellation. Like, come on. Chris Cummings, what are we setting 2 aside of?
What's what?
Chris Cummings set 2 aside of something.
Chris, Ed's wondering what to set 2 aside of, because we can do that. All right, so here's a scoop with that 12.
And to set aside mean you want to buy them?
Yep, she's coming up to the store tomorrow.
Oh, sorry, never mind.
So the last one, that matte purple blue, I have that in a size 8 coming up, and I have a lot of those. And I'm sorry I don't have more of these right now, but
looks like we're fine.
All right, so lot 14. This is one that we have done before, but it's been out of stock for a while. And it is just a fun pile of interesting colors that you can arrange however you like. Hot colors, some cool colors, some pinks, kind of a mauve, or what do you call that? Like a lilac-y color, I guess, is that guy there. And yeah, this is a beautiful, like deep red. Oh my goodness, it's just lovely. Of course, you've got that Hello, I'm Orange bead. These guys right here, look at those beads. Can you see those? Look at the, like, the Picassoing. It's like each one is so lovely. Anyway, there's a fun green in there that has some unique metallic Picassoing. Anyway, lot 14. There's 12 of those. Lot 15.
Hey, Chris, you got to give us numbers. We're not setting anything aside, Chris. You need to tell us what number.
15.
No. I mean, Chris Cummings, she's...
Yes. Okay, so Chris, Eddie is saying that if you want something to be set aside, you need to say what number, because
right. Tell her right now we have nothing set aside.
Yeah, and if she's coming up, she'll be able to pick things out here at the store, Eddie. It'll be fine. But you need to be really sure to say what number, because his feed is slower than the live that you're watching. So if you just say that one, he won't know which one that is because the timing is off. So anyway, yes, Lori, we do have one of those. We just got some in. If you would like, Lori's asking about the finer curved nose, the bent nose pliers. So you could just write that down for Lori, and Lori Wacker. Yes, LKW. All right, so lot 15, there we go. Right?
Bent nose, I'm still writing 13. Keep going, I guess, as long as we got enough beads. It looks like we do, so.
All right, well, if we run out, we'll let you know. I mean, we won't charge you and won't send you anything that we don't have. So, I think it all works out okay. So, lot 16 is these. Oh my goodness, love these, love these. They were out for so long, and that's a nice big size too. They have nothing to do with anything that we're doing here today, other than they're just a gorgeous bead that I love, and they've been gone and out for so long, and now we have a bunch. So big hole. You can do 2 mil leather in those, and there's basically 3 colors in each strand: a kind of a green, a kind of a blue, and then the taupe. And there's a Picassoing and a metallic. They're just a really beautiful, subtle, lovely bead. Here's an example. We do a kit that has them. You do it with gunmetal, little bracelet that just, I think it's just a sweet little bead, and I didn't want to not share it with y'all since we have had, since they've been out for a long time. All right, and so there's plenty of those available. Lot 17 is, I guess, just one of these. If you liked one of those earrings, this little guy, that used this mix. And so this is about 125 beads, plenty for lots of stuff, for just $2. I just figured it's a cute little mix, and if anybody liked those colorways, then that's a way for you to get some without having to buy more than you need. So there you go. 3 grams for $2 is lot 17, and that's one of our fun little custom mixes. It's a little bit like our summer mini bolo, but I added to it a few other little goodies. All right. Well, so it's okay, Eddie. I think we've got plenty. So here's what I'm going to say. Ed's a little behind, but I can keep moving forward, so we can keep going. But if we, if we run out of something, we won't charge you and we won't send it. And it's just beads, so it'll be okay. Don't worry.
Right. But again, there's some that keeps asking questions without mentioning lots, and I just return to help.
Okay, so Ed's just reminding us that if for him to be able to be useful and helpful to you online, he needs to know what lot you're talking about. So we're now talking about lot 18. Lot 18 is 4 large hole pearls. These are roughly 12 to 13 millimeters, and they are faceted and yes, that's 11.6 on that guy. So we tried to put them together so that there would be there'd be basically 2 pairs. So usually one's just a little bit smaller than the other. And that's what, when we take all the strands apart, we can kind of figure it out so that we make them match-ish, so that if you wanted to use them for earrings, how cool would those be, right? Like, honestly, oh, here's Ed's piece of leather. Just a simple, throw that on leather, tie a knot, hang it off an ear wire, and it's such a simple, cute little cowgirl chic look. So, lot 18, we have 4 large hole faceted pearls.
I guess the question is, lot number 12, do we have that? We don't have it in size 11. Do we have it in size 8?
We do. Lot 12 we have in size 8, that colorway.
But not in size 11.
No, we don't have
nothing in size.
any size 11s. That's too low for us. We're kind of big hole bead people, or bigger bead people. So we don't even have, I don't think, well, we have stray tubes of 11s, but we don't have any for sale. We are not. But Meant to Bead and Prairie Flower, both, who are within 25 miles here, have lots and lots and lots of little beads like that. So if you're ever in the area, or you could call them or check with them online too. One's in Sun Prairie, one is in Sauk, and or Portage, sorry, and they do a great job. So with those little beads, for sure. And when we need them, that's where we go get them. So lot 19 is those 6 mil pearls. So that's this pearl here, and it's got a large hole, and we're just doing half strands of those so that you don't have to get the whole thing, but you can get enough to do some fun things with. So there too, big holes, so you could put those on leather, do a necklace, do bracelets, earrings, whatever. But I'm just feeling it with leather and pearls, and wanted to share some of these with you today. So lot 19 is approximately 16 pearls.
Oh, you're in lot 19?
We are.
So,
And you'll either get a half strand this way, or the other half of that strand is in a little bag like that. So one way or the other, you'll be getting a half strand of those large hole, approximately 6 mil pearls. Yes, Eddie?
Oh, there's some people saying they can't see the prices, so just, but they didn't say what lot they couldn't see the prices on. So Lynn Stanky said she couldn't see prices.
Okay. Well, I will make sure, I will try to do better and make sure that we can see the prices. Thank you for letting me know, because
but just, so 16 was 22, 17 was 2, 18 was 10, and 19 is 10.
Thank you, Eddie. All right, and we don't have our usual 30, well, maybe I do, 30, something like that, but not we don't have 50 things, so we're getting close to the end. Anyway, now we have what we call those tiny triangles. If you like those beads, a wonderful, fun, easy to work with bead, very functional, lots of things that you can do with him. And we're doing a half strand of those for $6. So a half strand is about 10 inches, and they are, do you know how big these are? Actually, I've got the measure right here. I just know you know everything by heart. So that's 2.9 millimeters, so about a 3 millimeter wide bead. I'm going to say about a 1 millimeter thickness, and it is just a fun go-to bead. If you've used our regular triangle spacers, you will know that they are a very useful bead, making earrings, bracelets, whatever, obviously. So this is a half strand for $6, about 10 inches on the strand, and that's a lot of pretty little beads, and these are copper for lot 20. And lot 21 is same thing except brass. So there we go. Brass, brass, brass in that same 3 millimeter bead, $6 for 10 inches of brass triangle bead. I love the irregularity. If you kind of like that look, and there's lots of round beads out there, or oval or faceted, that have symmetry to them. And these are just fun for if you want to have something a little less symmetrical. And I see, Vicki, you use those a lot. Easy for me to say. I do too, and I'm glad to hear it. It's just an easy, fun, functional, and just gives a little more, I don't know, arty look to your work, I think. Alrighty, so 22 is that same strand, half strand for $6 in silver. And show you those. Silver is silver, you know. It's not too shiny, not too antique. It's a good working silver, I'm gonna say. So 22 is silver, and then 23 is these sweet tiny triangles in gold, because gold is good. All right, now we just have a few strands left, since we talked about those in size 8. So lot 23 is 10 inches or a half strand of the gold tiny triangles. Lot 24. Oh my, these all look good. I should use denim more. These all look so good on denim, don't they? I'm trying to show you just how sweet these all are. So this is lot 24. All right, I'm just going to hold it. And these are size 8s, 20-inch strands. I think all of our 8s are $7. I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 total colorways. And these were the size that we were using on, this is for that naked earring kit. This is how the 8s look as compared to the 6s. So it's a little, well, a lot more delicate look. And so these would work the same way. These all fit fine on the 0.7 mil beading chain. So as you can see, these have just a whole lot of beautiful deep purple. There's like 3 different purples. Darker, lighter, and then almost a mauve, almost a pink. That green is so good. I love that army green there. And this deep, deep, deep blue that has metallic on it, gold metallic. And then, of course, that beautiful yellow stripe bead that just gives the pop of color that you like. So these we do have a lot. I put 20, but I think we even have more than that. So, and this is the same as 12. What was the other one? The same basic color as lot 12. So, but in a smaller bead. So, lot 24. $7. Thanks, you guys. This is a fun show. I appreciate all you commenting and finding things that want to come home and be part of your personal bead stash. Sometimes it's hard to let them go, but we know they're going to good homes. and I guess that's the point of what we're doing. So I got to be better. So these are 8 O's, and go like so. And you can kind of see how that looks against denim or the kind of yellowy stone that we have on the bottom here. So this is similar to the one you just saw, except it's the shiny version. So all those same beads, but not matte. So they're also $7. So you've got the kind of a metallic on the blue, the mauve, the lighter blue, 2 different light blues, that beautiful green, and the kind of classic yellow gold stripe. So these are yummy good bead as well, and useful for stringing on beading wire, memory wire, beading chain, you know, silk, nylon, that sort of thing, but not good for leather because they won't fit. All right, so now we're going to move on to 26. Oh, sorry for that big whack. All right, so this is a fun strand with that beautiful bright green. I think a green similar to that is part of Pantone's color. I need to double check. Why I get my years mixed up, I don't know. Lynn, we are open till 5 today, and we will be here 9 to 4 tomorrow. And then, as you know, I'll be here Monday, Tuesday, and do private appointments if anybody wants to come by then. And then we're open starting in February now. We're open Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, 10 to 5, and Saturday, 9 to 4. So that's kind of back to our regular pandemic hours. We used to be open 6 days a week, but now we're just open 4 days a week because we reserve Mondays and Tuesdays to do some cleaning and organizing, and then private appointments with people that would prefer to shop with, you know, without a lot of other people around, and anybody who wants to is welcome to do that. And I also do, I can do like virtual shopping if you're wanting to buy things that we've not done on a show, or, you know, see what we have in terms of certain kinds of beads. I'm happy to do, I've got an iPhone, so we could do a FaceTime, or we can do pictures. So that's fun too for people that aren't nearby. So lot 26, $7. We're getting there, Eddie. 98 comments behind. Wow. Well, it's okay. We'll get caught up, and we've got a wonderful group of people that is forgiving and loving, and if for some reason we make mistakes, I mean, we won't charge you for anything that we don't send you. You know, the only worry is if we've oversubscribed and then you don't get something you'd like, and that's a disappointment. But this one I know is not, this is no longer available. This is lot 27. We've got 10 of them. So do you want me to watch that, Ed? So 2, 3, 4, and I guess hopefully my feed is similar, but we do only have 5. Lori is the 5th one out of 10 that we have. Yay, we'd love to see you tomorrow, Lynn, or today, whatever works. But yes, tomorrow I think is going to be a little bit warmer day, is my recollection when I looked at the weather. So yes, these are size 8 beads, and it looks like we're good at Lori is the last who I'm seeing bid. Lisa is now 6. So there's only 4 more left after this, but I will move on so that we can be done. And again, if, you know, I mean, the really, really worst thing that happens is not being able to get a beautiful bead that you like, but, you know, we're big girls. We can pull up our big girl panties and be sad and then wait for the other next nice, new, beautiful bead, because there's always more beads, right? That's what I love about beads. There's always more. So, all right, so this is lot 28 and $7. And these are really fun, super matte. And what do I mean by super matte? I mean that there's no shine in them. Sometimes when we have matte strands, there's a shiny one in there. And beautiful. I love that, like puce green, several different greens, several different stripes, a bright golden. And then that golden has a drop to it. So I was going to try to experiment with these with the beading chain, because I thought, oh, those little drop beads, those would be fun at the middle section, right? To put 1 or 3 of those and whatever, have that. It would just give it a whole different look, kind of a, and since they're yellow, a very sunny look. So these also, I'm pretty sure there are not, I don't think there's more available. Sometimes we get beads that are just, you know, I mean, a lot of check beads are handmade in, you know, in a very small batch fashion. And those are the beads that we usually like the best. And that unfortunately means that you can't necessarily reorder. You can maybe, you know, I can order 100 strands when we start, but then when we've sold out, they may not make them, or you may not be able to get anything quite like them. You can get similar, and what I have come to know is that they as in the you know, small batch producers in the Czech Republic, will make more beads. They may not be the exact same as the ones they made before, but they will make more beads, and that's a good thing. So then we get other new good beads, and I can't imagine anybody out there would probably say they don't have enough beads. There's so many beads in the world. Anyway, I'm babbling and rambling so that Eddie can catch up, but I think we are at the, are we at the end of the sheet, Eddie? 28? 28, yeah. Okay, yes, that's it. Okay, so that is that. I'm going to put this back up so that, well, no, none of it matters anymore because, well, it does. If you order less than $20, we are going to charge shipping. But
Erin Winkowski needs to tell us what she wants in lot 1 and lot 2 for the finish of the wire.
Okay, so Erin, lot 1, lot 2, the wire finish that you prefer would be good to know.
A, B, or A, C.
Yep, antique copper, antique brass. Otherwise, it looks like Eddie's got what he needs. We will, but if we have questions, we'll get a hold of you. If you are watching this after January 28th at noontime, then you're watching a recording. So if you're listening to me right now, noontime on the 28th, this isn't a recording, but if it's after 1 o'clock on the 28th Central Time, then it's a recording, and you can watch it all you'd like. If there's anything you'd like on it, though, please send an email right here to Becky@diakonosdesigns.com. And then we will put together an online or an electronic invoice for you. And whatever it might be left, we'll get out to you, or we'll get you an invoice, and then we'll get it shipped. So easy peasy. I think that's it.
Next show.
Our next show, Ed is doing, and it is jewelry.
No. Next show is February 10th. It's a Thursday night, 6 p.m. I'm doing the best of our super sale table. I've usually done jewelry, but this time I'm going to do components.
Oh.
We're starting to de-stash ahead of our move. Not de-stash, but just not move some things that we've had for a while, but are still lovely. And we're going to be wheeling and dealing, of course, everything 50 to 75% off. So you don't want to miss that. If you like components, I've got some chain. I think that chain that we got, that steel chain, that's lovely. It's Rollo chain. I think we're going to have some half-off chain as part of that, just in some small quantities. But you're going to see a lot of components, charms, findings, things.
Thanks, Erin.
And then a couple ideas. There will be a couple mini tutorials. We have the bow of buttons and bows that I'm going to make a few fun things with, and we're going to be wheeling and dealing on the bow fixture of that button and bow kit. So stay tuned for that, February 10th, 6 p.m.
All right, I see there was a couple questions. Pam had one about what was left on the 8s, and I think at this point probably we don't know. What we like to do is once we
just had one lot of 8s.
We had 5 lots of 8s. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Oh.
So we don't know. I think is the.
We don't. Yeah, we. I just.
Trust me, we don't know. Right?
We don't know. I'm just recording lot 25 right now.
Right. So what I'm trying to say is we don't know yet, but what we'll do is once we do know, we will put that up on we make another post on our Facebook page that says what's left and what's sold out. So then you can continue to buy or bid on what's left. And if you want to give a call to the shop or we need to do follow-up, otherwise, send us an email is the best way rather than commenting on the Facebook feed, because sometimes we don't get those notifications. It's just the way Facebook has been. So again, this email is the best place, or call us 608-873-0210. And thank you, everybody. Thanks for sticking along so long, and just making the beading be joyful. It isn't fun when we can't share it, and I am just so blessed and grateful to have you guys out there. And I feel like many of you have not met, but I know you and I appreciate you, and I thank you. And have a wonderful weekend. Go forth and bead on, and God bless. Bye-bye. Thank you.